This is a small flower. To which group does this flower belong? Group A on the left or Group B on the right?
A グループで
A グループ B グループ
A グループですね。
A グループ
A グループ
A グループ
A グループ요
A グループ
A 吧 A 种属于 B 组的 A 组吧
A 组 B
B
B
B B
A belongs to B.
A B B
It belongs to B.
B.
A. B.
Interestingly, Easterners from Korea, China, and Japan mostly answered Group A, while Westerners from the US and the UK said Group B. What is the source of this difference? Do people from the East and the West typically see the world in a different way? Westerners generally see space as something that is mostly empty. Westerners tend to envision space as the thing in which planets float. The objects in empty space exist independently of their surroundings. But to Easterners, space has been believed since ancient times to be filled with energy known as Gi. Objects made from Gi are always closely related to the surrounding Gi. In the West, objects are thought to exist in empty space, while in the East, objects are seen as being made from Gi. From this small difference in perspective stems the difference between East and West. In Western thought process, if two objects are separated, they don't really affect each other. The reason is that the space between them is empty. In Eastern thought, however, the two separate objects affect each other anyway. In the East, all objects are made of Gi, and all things are related through this Gi. It is in this way that ancient scholars in the East came to realize that tides were the result of interaction between the Earth and the Moon.
The ancient Chinese understood the concept of gravity. They understood the notion that there can be action at a distance, that one object can be distant from another and it still can operate on it. And it's amazing to us today, but the Greeks did not understand that. In fact, it's amazing that until the late 18th century, the West believed that there was no such thing as action at a distance, whereas 2,500 years ago, The Chinese understood the basic principles of acoustics. They understood magnetism, and they even understood the true reason for the tides. And this was unknown even to Galileo. Galileo had many interesting theories about why the tides exist, and all of them were wrong, whereas the Chinese had gotten it right 2,500 years before because they were paying attention between the relationship between the context and the object.
Everything in space operates on every other thing. This notion of universal interactivity is well represented in Japanese gardens. This is a wooden cylinder. Let's call it ducks. Between a wooden box-like shape and a plastic blue cylinder, which one could be called ducks?
This is a ducks.
Ducks. Ducks. Yep.
Which one is the ducks?
That's another duck. Because it's round like this one.
I would say that one. Why? Because it's the same, similar shape. The colour doesn't matter.
Which one is the ducks?
That one.
Why?
Same shape.
Which one is the ducks?
That one.
Why?
Because that one's got a curve like that, and that one's got two circles there, and this is both the same, but they're different colour.
얘야. 이유는요? 그냥 비슷하게 된 걸로 이루어져 있으니까. 이거요.
왜요?
질감이 비슷하니까요.
난데?
だって同じだから木
そっか。
木でしょ木でしょ、だから
こっち。
どっちですか？はい。その理由は何ですか？
素材が一緒だから。素材というか木の木目とか。
这个吧，
为什么呢？
因为这俩材质一样，
材质一样。
对，
还有吗？
本质一样，
本质一样。
对。
这个？
对。
为什么呢？
我感觉 ducks 应该是一个木制品吧。
我觉得这个是。
为什么？
因为它俩的虽然形状不同，但是形状可以塑造可以改，而质地它俩是一样的。材料是一样。
These differences between typical Eastern and Western thought can be summed up as the difference between objects and substance.
If you break the object in front of you, a piece of it is not the same as the whole object, right? However, if you have a lump of clay or a lump of wax, and then you break it, each piece is the same as the lump of clay, right? So the criteria for the same is very different for substance and an object. And for substance, there is no notion of individuality and then no notion of wholeness, you know. Whole and part is the same for substance, okay? But for object, you know, whole is a whole, and then piece of it or part of it is no longer the same object, considered the same, right? So this distinction is very important conceptually. And English and another Western languages quote this distinction, conceptual distinction in grammar.
Objects are at the center of Westerners' thoughts. So, in Western languages, there is a clear difference between singular and plural nouns. But there is no such clear distinction in Eastern languages.